Chapter 7 of Toyotaro's Dragon Ball Super manga adaptation is out, or it's kind of out, and boy, just like the last 3 months, a whole bunch of stuff has happened. So here I'm going to bring you my review slash recap slash, I guess, story time of Dragon Ball Super Chapter 7. And it's interesting because it seems like the Dragon Ball Super manga that Toyotaro is drawing based on a Toriyama manuscript, it seems like this is going to be going far, far ahead of the anime. So we might not even see these events that we're seeing now in the manga in the anime for another few months, maybe even like 4 or 5 months, maybe less than that. So Chapter 7 took a very interesting twist as far as storytelling goes, because essentially Toyotaro is telling two stories in one. There are two separate events going on. One event is the story of Jaco and Bulma going to go visit Zuno, and the other event is of the Earth fighters, or the Universe 7 fighters, preparing to and then going to fight in the intergalactic inter-universe tournament. So Jaco and Bulma are on Jaco's ship heading towards Zuno to meet this mysterious character Zuno, who is supposed to be an all-knowing character. And Jaco says that he doesn't know anything about the alternate universes or the Super Dragon Balls or any of that stuff, even though he's a galactic patrolman. That's kind of funny to me. But he still wants to go to the tournament. And Bulma pretty much brings up like, hey, okay, well, if you come to the tournament, you should bring your girlfriend or your wife or whatever. And Jaco says that he got dumped. Sorry, Jaco. Bad news for Jaco. So we finally get to Zuno, and it's very interesting that Dragon Ball Super essentially stole, and this is kind of funny, the Simpsons gag of when Homer and Apu went to go visit the original Quickie Mart in like India or whatever. They pretty much stole that here with Zuno, so it's hilarious. So they go to Zuno, and Zuno requests gifts in exchange for questions. Jaco tries to give him a kiss, and Zuno blushes and says that he's only going to give him one question because he's a guy. However, he sees Bulma with her tig old bitties, and he asks how big they are. And Bulma says she used to be 87.2 centimeters, but after breastfeeding, she's now 83.4 because they sag. That's kind of funny, so at least we have confirmation of how big Bulma's boobies are. In doing my conversion, 87, I believe, is somewhere around 34. So she's a 34, I don't know, I guess D, I guess. We'll find out. Maybe we'll find out. Who knows if we'll find out. So anyways, Bulma only gets 3 questions because she's middle-aged and not really Zuno's type, even though she has tig old bitties. Whatever. So this is where they stole the bit from The Simpsons. Bulma asks if she only gets 2 more questions for being this pretty, and Zuno says yes, and that actually counts as one of the questions. Again, they stole it from a Simpsons joke years ago, or maybe Toyotaro has no idea, but it is a joke that was already done in The Simpsons. So then we get down to business. She asks about the Super Dragon Balls, and Zuno tells her that the Super Dragon Balls were formed back in age 41 by Shenlong dragon god Zarama. Okay, the name of the dragon god is Zarama or Jarama. And basically they're gigantic, are a perfect sphere, and basically there are 7 total wish orbs in between universe 6 and 7. So the answer has been, people are wondering, are the Super Dragon Balls in our universe or in universe 7 or universe 6? And the answer is that the Super Dragon Balls are in both. The Super Dragon Balls are in both the universe 7, universe 6. They're split amongst the two. And of course, he says that the Super Dragon Balls are marked with stars 1 through 7, just like the Dragon Balls that we have on Earth and on planet Namek. And basically, the reason why they have stars in the middle is because they want to look like stars from far away. Okay, that's wacky, but I'll accept it because it's Dragon Ball. So it's kind of weird to me that this character of Zuno knows more about the history of the universe than the Kais. I mean, they're supposed to be the gods and they don't even know this shit. Whatever. So basically, he says those who collect all 7 Super Dragon Balls and speak in the god's language come forth Shenlong, and then grant my wish, get 1 wish fulfilled no matter what it is. Once the wish is granted, the orbs scattered throughout the 2 universes again. So it's very similar to the Dragon Balls we've already seen, except for we don't know the limitations on these yet. So Bulma asks a rhetorical, balls between 2 universes? And Zuno says yes, and then that counts as her wasting her 3rd wish. Zuno says come back in a year. So Bulma and Jaco are like kind of pissy, but they come back to Earth and they get mad at each other for wasting these questions. So then we cut to some awesome stuff here. We go to Vegeta and Goku training in the Room of Spirit and Time, and apparently have been training for 3 years / 3 days. Now, before we go any further, I'm sure people are probably wondering, okay, is that not a plot hole? Because it is stated earlier in the Dragon Ball series, Dragon Ball Manga, Dragon Ball Z anime, that you can only go into the Room of Spirit and Time 2 times, and that only 2 people can go in at once. Well, of course, that rule was somewhat broken in the Buu saga when we had Super Buu, Gotenks, and Piccolo in there all at the same time. But I guess that's a retcon or something. But really, the big question is, how did they get back in if Piccolo destroyed the entrance during the Buu saga? Maybe the anime will elaborate on it more. Again, I'm not going to get upset over this yet, because there's still a chance for the anime to elaborate on it. Remember, folks, the manga is a promotional tool for the anime. The anime is going to give us the real kind of filler story. Fill in the blanks, so to speak. So Goku and Vegeta are fighting with that awesome original pose, and Goku wonders if their opponents are going to be really that strong, and Vegeta says they have to be, since Champa saw their abilities and is still very, very confident in his fighters winning. Goku thinks that Vegeta is pretty smart, but Vegeta says of course he is, compared to Goku / dumbass. So Vegeta questions Goku acting like a child and asks him, to think about his age. Goku says that Vegeta said once that people of their race stay in their prime till they reach the age of 80. So that's good information to know, that we actually know the exact age of when they fall off, and Vegeta says he's talking about mentally. So Vegeta just gives up, and Goku says they're excited to be able to cut loose like old times. We then fast forward to the crew in space. They're in this cube, traveling to the mysterious planet that the tournament's going to take place on. And Beerus is a little bit pissed because Champa's trespassing into his universe for the Super Dragon Balls, being very selfish because he wants food. So the Pilaf gang is there. I don't know how the hell the Pilaf gang wound up in the cube. Some of these characters, I'm not really sure why they're even there. Pretty much everybody's there with the exception of Gohan, who's at a conference, whatever the hell that means. This was translated. I'm going to give credit here. Major credit to the Devil's Corpse, by the way, and to HERMS for translating this from Korean. It went from Japanese to Korean to English, so major shout out to that. I'll put a link to their Twitter down below. But nonetheless, back to the recap. Gohan's at a conference. Pilaf talks about the Super Dragon Balls, underestimating their size. We then get introduced to the 5th mystery partner of Team Beerus, a character named Monaka, whose nipples are... this is wacky. Okay, so let's talk about the nipple guy, all right? So Vegeta doesn't think that Monaka looks very strong, but Piccolo remarks that, hey, you got to stop saying that people don't look strong. Every time we underestimate somebody, whether it be Cell or Boo, they end up or Frieza or whatever, they end up being really strong. And that's a good point. Whis says that Monaka means the Great Ponta, which is essentially the Great Pointer. Monaka-san is a hero from the planet Wagashi, which is Japanese for sweets. He's very calm and shy, but once he bares his fangs, he can give even Beerus some trouble. Goku wonders what Great Pointer means, and it's explained that it means his large nipples. So I don't know if his nipples give him power or what, but that's where it comes from. Again, Toriyama wacky humor. I love it. Now, for some reason, the Galactic King is there, and for those who have not read Jocko the Galactic Patrolman or watched my video on it, the Galactic King is basically the king of the galaxy, who's in charge of the Galactic Patrol, and he's let down because nobody recognizes him. So Jocko apologizes and says that they're not really impressed with him because they happen to know North Kai and bigger gods. So then Krillin suggests playing a game called Shiritori, and Whis goes with Juri Juri, and Goku asks what that is, and Whis says it's a bird on his planet. That seems to be more of a Japanese-centric joke. It'll probably make more sense when we get the anime version. So it took 35 minutes to get from the Earth to Beerus' planet, and then another 2 hours and 10 minutes to get to the designated fighting place on the nameless star. Goku and the gang show up, and the first people they see is the Kaioshin and Kibito, and they have been separated. They, like we talked about before, they went to Namek in a previous chapter and got separated. So the Potara, even though it's a permanent fusion, the Dragon Wish can still separate you. So then Goku is surprised that they're separated, but then he meets the Universe 6 Kaioshin. So there are indeed Kaioshin in Universe 6, as was talked about before, and they are here to represent the tournament. Pretty much the written test is about to begin, and we see the introduction of Champa's Universe 6 warriors, and the one that sticks out the most is the guy who looks like the enemy that they just got done beating again. Goku says, hey, there's a familiar face, and Vegeta says, Frieza, and that is the end of the chapter. So next month, we're probably going to get real introductions to these characters. I don't think the tournament's going to start until probably Chapter 9, but we will get some more information next month, and I am very excited. Really love this chapter for 3 different reasons. Number 1, we got a whole bunch of world building, and that's very important. The lore of Dragon Ball has been expanded upon. We now know the true history of the origin of the Dragon Balls, where they originally came from. Number 2, I really loved kind of, again, the character of Zuno and how they took that joke from The Simpsons with the fake wishes, or the non-wishes, non-questions. And then the third reason I loved it is because Toyotaro was such a fucking talented writer and a talented artist that the way he drew the Goku and Vegeta fight was just fantastic. I mean, he really is the heir to Toriyama. Very talented artist. That pretty much does it for Chapter 7 of the Dragon Ball Super manga. Probably my second favorite one so far. Actually, it might actually be my favorite because we're getting brand new stuff that we have never gotten before. I'm very excited. Tell me how excited you are in the comments below. Thanks for watching my review, and I'll catch you down the road. Hey Super Tubers, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and spread the word about the channel, and find me on these social media platforms.